So, a couple of the previous videos, I have talked about this guy who kind of got on to me. I mean, not seriously bad. You know, I tried to tone it down, de-escalate, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So he didn't get too upset with me. And I'll quickly give you the premise of what his complaint was. I've worked on a power washer for him before, and he has recommended me to other people for lawn equipment, to work on their lawn equipment. I think one was a pressure washer. One was one of those, it's a mower, but you pull it behind your mower or your ATV or whatever. So it's kind of like a brush hog, kind of, but it's a mower. It uses a gasoline engine. And also worked on an air compressor, gas-powered air compressor. I think I said air compressor. I meant to say air compressor. If I said air conditioner, I apologize. I shouldn't have taken, in all honesty, the air compressor. That is not lawn equipment. But in my mind, you know, you could be using it in your garage. So, and the thing is, here's the thing I always think is, if my insurance isn't going to pay for the damages that it causes, then maybe I can pay for it. In that particular case, I figured, well, if they're not going to pay, let's say breaks or something happens, you know, I'm just cleaning the carburetor is all I was doing, then, you know, I could pay for, you know, replacing a new air compressor. That was my thinking. So, in the end, he was upset because I wouldn't work on his ATVs. And that is not lawn equipment, and I'm not going to work on them. And he's asked me several different things. He bought one of these Chinese backhoes. It has a lawnmower engine on it, but he's also using it commercially. And I said, no, I can't work on that. So he was kind of upset. And I said, look, my business model is to kind of cater to the folks that live around here. They're poor. In the summertime, rich people have a second home down here. This is a tourist area. And, you know, they want to cut their grass. Some of them I can help with their repairs to their lawnmowers, you know, if they want me to. But a lot of them just take the lawnmower back to Kansas City to have it repaired by that guy up there that they trust. They don't trust this little backyard mechanic hobby business. They want to take it to an expensive place. So I try not to focus my business on the rich folks that have two homes. It's just, you know, I would go broke trying to focus on them. I would have to have a shop and a big sign, a big neon sign in the window, you know, big fancy place, and I don't think it'll pay off. So he said, well, you need to stop focusing on the people around here. All the businesses around here that focus on the people that live around here, the poor people, go out of business. Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, I know what he's talking about. There are a lot of businesses that go out of business around here, but really has nothing to do with the poor people. I mean, we got Dollar Generals all over the place. Poor people go to those. We've got, you know, a little friendly mom and pop store. Yeah, and they've been in business forever. There's a nice little restaurant over here. The businesses that go broke are actually the businesses that cater to the summer people. I would assume that in somebody's mind, somebody could say, no, they're catering to the poor. But no, they're really catering to the summer people. There is a place that is constantly closing down the road. They sell pizza one time, next time they sell subs, and the next time the next owner comes in, they do something. But it's only open in the summer. Clearly focusing on the summer traffic. And it closes every summer. Somebody else buys it the next year. There was another place down the road, and the reason they closed was, one, they actually were kind of trying to get the traffic from the summer business. And they're way out there in the middle of nowhere, trying to get that summer business. But the reason they closed is because when summer came around, what was it? I don't exactly remember. The employees quit for one reason or another. I don't know. And so instead of just hiring new employees, they closed up. So, I mean, I knew what he was talking about, but he's not right. So he says, I brought my business down here from Kansas City to cater to the people, the rich people of this area. Okay, he's a contractor. He's not a lawnmower mechanic. His business model is completely different. He brought his business down here to re-roof houses and build a garage, you know, those kind of things. Well, who is actually doing, you know, paying to have that done? The poor people, if they need a roof, they're going to put it on themselves. They're not going to hire anybody to do it. So I agree with him. His business model shouldn't be focused on the poor people. They're not going to hire him. They're not going to add a new garage. They're just trying to survive. So his business model will be working on homes that are the people who from Kansas City come down here to their second home. That's all he works on. They can't take their home back up to Kansas City to have some guy working on it. They have to hire a contractor from around here. His business model makes sense, but for a lawnmower repair business, it doesn't make sense. He's even doing work in the wintertime. And what will happen is a guy in Kansas City will give him a call. Hey, you know, my neighbor said that a tree limb fell over onto the garage. Can you go over there and fix that? Or whatever. So he still gets wintertime business from the people who live in Kansas City working on their summer homes. I don't. And a perfect example of that is right now is the big snowblower season. You look on Facebook, YouTube channels, everybody's working on snowblowers. Well, I haven't gotten any snowblowers. I've gotten I don't know, what have I gotten? A few weed eaters. I don't even think I've gotten a chainsaw. Oh, leaf blowers. That's been the big push, is leaf blowers. I've been doing a few leaf blowers. That's before the snow. There was a lot of leaves. And the leaf season came a little late this year. I mean, we were clearing in November. We still had leaves in the trees. So it made sense that I was still getting business all the way into November with leaf blowers. Let's see, I've worked on 2 leaf blowers the entire time I've had this shop open. The first one was, get this, guy who lives in Kansas City, has a second home down here, came down here to get his, I said leaf blowers, snow blowers. I've worked on 2 snow blowers. Let me rephrase. I've worked on 2 snow blowers since the shop is open. The first one, the guy came all the way down here to get his snowblower. I guess he stored it down here is what I'm gathering. And he's going to take it back to Kansas City because last year we're going to have this huge snow and he wanted to use it up there. So I guess he tries to start it at the summer home. It doesn't start. So he brings it over to me and says, hey, can you get this fixed real quick before I have to run back up there to fix it? Sure, I can look at it. No guarantees. So, and I wasn't able to fix it fast enough for him to take it up for the snow, because when I got into it, he had broken the choke knob, and I had to order a new one. There was just no way around it. I mean, I cleaned the carburetor, which was the problem, but he kept twisting that choke so much that he snapped the rod. It's just a plastic piece of junk is what it is, and I just had to get a new one. I tried to super glue it and all kinds of things, and nothing worked. But he understood. I mean, he even said, that's my fault. I'm sure I did that, you know, when he was trying to get it to start. So that was one. And then this year, over the summer, I had a guy who used to live in Kansas City. He's 90-something years old, like 94 years old. I mean, that's just amazing. And he moved down here a few years ago after his wife passed away. I guess she didn't, I mean, he tried to tell me the whole story, but I guess she didn't want to move down here full time. So he waited until she passed away, and he moved down here. His son and daughter-in-law live down here. So, I mean, trust me, I got the whole story. So he, last year, gave me a bunch of work. He also told his son about me. His son gives me a bunch of work. And but this year he didn't give me any work. So you could see that when he called me up, it was a pity job. He just wanted to be able to give me some work. So he gives me this nearly antique snow blower and 2 leaf blowers, backpack leaf blowers, 2 of them. Well, he's 90-something years old. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the leaf blowers, nothing. I changed the fuel filter, the air filter, new spark plug, you know, just a little tune up on both of them. They ran fine. And then the snow blower had been sitting around forever. And so I just had to clean the carburetor on that. That's all it was. And I know he's not going to use it. I can bet you he didn't use it. He's had that snow blower for 20 years and it just sat in his garage. He's not using it this year. It was just a charity work. So again, that is an example of the poor people around here. The poor people are not going to go out and buy a snow blower. They'll use a shovel, or they do what I do, and they take their lawnmower and they kind of blow the snow with the lawnmower. Some people will just take their leaf blower and they'll if it's powdery snow, they'll just use a leaf blower. People are not going to go out and spend, I don't know what they are, $1,200, $1,500 for a snowblower. I mean, I'm sure you get some cheaper, but you see what I'm saying. Now when you buy a shovel for 15 bucks, they're just not going to do it. So I don't see a bunch of people from Kansas City running down here, except that one, which is the exception, not the rule, to give me their snow blowers to work on before snow. They're not coming down here in the winter. There are some, I suspect. Well, I know there's at least a couple. That one with the snow blower last year, he gives me all his equipment. And he sees the value in what I'm doing. He even said so. I'd rather drive all the way down here and give you the work than give it to those guys up in Kansas City, because they charge 4 times as much as you do. So he's one of these miserly guys that got his money because he saved. And he sees the value. And there's another one like that also. Another second home guy. He has brought all his equipment down here, except for his big fancy lawnmower. I think he's a little nervous for me to work on that. You know, it must be a $10,000 machine. I'm not even sure I would want to work on it. And he keeps saying he's going to bring it down to have me service it. And every time he talks to me, he'll be handing me a leaf blower or something. Hey, can you work on this? And at the same time, he says, are you able to change the hydrostatic fluid in my zero turn? Yeah, I can do that. Oh, okay. And he just always has this look of concern. So even him, the guy who gives me all his business, doesn't trust that, you know, a backyard mechanic can work on his really, really expensive zero turn. So no, there is no business for me catering to the rich people. I will go broke, just like that shop down the road that is a pizza place one year, Subway the next year. You know, it's just not a Subway, but a sub shop. That's what it would be. Fortunately, I don't need the money here. It is a nice little boost in income. It's a hobby business. So yeah, if I needed the income, sure, I'd be broke in no time. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over to my other channel, I'd appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you to really think about your plan so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.